Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a very interesting story to share with you guys, right? And it has to do with this person, this individual right here. So for those of you who are watching from abroad and not familiar with Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, I am from Trinidad and Tobago, right? And this person is the Minister of Finance in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Colin Inbert, right? So let me get to this story. So this morning with myself and my wife, we were just lying on our bed, and I was kind of half awake, half asleep. She was scrolling through social media on her phone, Facebook to be precise. And she all of a sudden she was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." And I was kind of half asleep, half awake, so I was like, what's the matter?" And she told me that the central bank is suing the Minister of Finance, right, after statements he made on a live television program. So that kind of piqued her interest and kind of piqued my interest as well. I was like, well, that's a first. I don't think that ever happened in history before, right? Here we have the Minister of Finance being sued by the central bank. And as I said, we are from Trinidad and Tobago, so this was a big thing since we knew the person involved, right? So I kind of just nodded back off to my half asleep, half awake state. And my wife continued reading the article, and she started to give me some more context and told me that he was on this live broadcast with this news reporter, and he explained how making money in Trinidad was so easy, right? And this is the article in particular she was reading. I'm going to share it in the video description if you want to take your time and read it as well. So basically what the article was saying is that the Minister Inbert claimed that if the reporter was to give him $1,700 now, he could invest that in a platform named Vortex Code and make $1 million in 12 to 15 weeks. Again, this kind of piqued our interest again, right? Because here we have supposedly the Minister of Finance offering this advice or the secret, because as it goes on to say, the story says the minister didn't realize they were still on air. Hence the reason he made that statement. And upon making the statement, he tried to get the reporter to redact it from the broadcast, but he didn't, right? And later on, Minister Inbert took the reporter's phone, because the reporter asked for evidence apparently, and he downloaded his Vortex Code app or whatever, signed up, invested $1,700, right? And apparently, within 20 minutes, his initial investment was able to yield $318 within 20 minutes, right? And we have screenshots supposedly of the transactions. So when my wife started to explain all these things though, I just woke up completely, because as I said, I was half asleep, half awake. And when I woke up now, what I did is I asked her to send me the article. So she sent it to me on my phone and I checked it out, right? And guys, it's important we be vigilant with these sorts of things, right? Anything that sounds too good to be true, chances is that it is too good to be true, right? So as soon as I opened up the article, you know what? What gave me red flags was the article itself was supposedly from the Trinidad Express or something like that, because the logo said that, but the domain name said crave5.com, right? So this, that's a totally weird domain. I never heard of this domain before. And that's something you always want to be mindful of when looking at these kind of things, like whether it's phishing attack, social engineering attack. So when I saw this domain, automatically red flags went off for me. I was like, but this isn't a legitimate domain. So for news at least that I know of. So what I further did is I went and I did a quiz, right? To see who's the owner of this domain, right? What this domain is about. So, and this is something you could do as well too if you're investigating to try to figure out what's going on. If you have a suspicious domain link that you're seeing and you wanted to know if this is really legitimate, this is a basic form of investigation you could do. So when I looked at crave5.com, it showed that this domain was recently registered, right? So when I looked at when it was registered on the 21st of April this year, right? And it expires on the 21st of April next here. So automatically kind of again red flags for me, because this shows you someone recently registered this domain, right? And we could see that Namecheap was the domain register that they registered it true, sorry. And here we could see the contact information for the person who registered the domain. So apparently it's Dave Ross, some of my name of Dave Ross, and they registered this in Israel, right? The country code IL, that stands for Israel, and Tel Aviv, that's in Israel as well. Yeah, and it's also a personal email account as well too, right? It's Dave Ross 1989. So by doing something like this, you could see, well, this is, this was a recently registered domain. This is registered to a personal person. It's not a business or affiliated to anyone, respected and stuff like that. And it's registered in Israel. So why should someone in Trinidad who is running Trinidad News register something in Israel? So I kind of already realized where this was going. So what I did next is I looked at one of the, apparently, Minister Enbert shared the site where you could go and sign up, to make these millions, right? Again, you want to be careful when you're doing these sorts of things, because sometimes these hyperlinks have embedded malware. But I had my way of going around and doing this, right? A good way to do it too is try to hover over it on some web browsers. It shows you the actual URL. So if we open up this URL now, okay, that one's dead, but there was one that was working. One of this is it. Yeah. So this URL, it tells you to invest $1,700 and earn from $39,000 to $33,000 per day. You heard that right, guys? Per day. Right? So it's asking you to enter your first name, last name, phone number, email, and hit register. Right? And of course, they have the, some testimonials telling you how great this platform is. Apparently they use some sort of AI algorithms to be able to predict the investments, and it makes you these millions of dollars, right? Again, looking at the site, you could see these are like stock images that have been pulled from the internet, right? And has just been populated on this website. But yeah, I from the time I saw this, most likely what would have happened there, once you registered with your email, they would have sent you a phishing email to that email address and asked you to sign up or enter your credit card details. And it's all downhill from there, right, guys, after you do that, right? But yeah, I mean, this, and also it shows you a bit of urgency here. Spots remaining only 11, right? So again, it kind of preys on your human instinct. Okay, this is something, it's only 10 spots remaining now, so I really need to invest in this thing now before I don't get a time to do it, right? And I miss out on this great opportunity, right? But again, yeah, guys, I thought it was really interesting how, hackers and cyber criminals are doing these things now. Besides just sending you the typical phishing emails, they kind of use other social media platforms such as Facebook in this case to perform these attacks, right? And again, just kind of walking you through how it took place. They use someone, an authority figure in our country of Trinidad and Tobago, and if you're in the US, they may use someone like the president or the VP, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, one of these people, to build up that trust, right, in you. That's what they did with this, right? They build up a certain level of trust, because we are seeing the Minister of Finance here. Then they go on now to tell you about this platform, and they leave a link where you could go to the platform, right? And on the platform itself now, it further, tells you about investing in these things. So red flags you look out for, look at the domain name, right? crave5.com. I know this domain from nowhere in terms of Trinidad news, right? So look at the domain name. That's your first step you want to look at. Second step, look at the information that they're relaying to you. Does this sound too good to be true? Because if it is, chances are this might be a scam. Furthermore, you could do a whois lookup as well of the domain if you're not too sure and you want to get some more information. If the domain has just been registered, like within the past couple of months, if it's registered under a personal email address or maybe in a country that you're not aware of, chances are this is a this domain was set up for use by some nefarious actors. And last but not least, those hyperlinks, right? Again, this hyperlink took us to a page where it gives us another sense of urgency. So all of a sudden, it rose up back to 28 spots from 11 spots remaining. But they give you some call to action, in other words, right? Invest this amount of money and you'll make this amount of money really quickly, right? So yeah, guys, I just thought this was interesting story that happened to me personally and my wife. And I thought it was worth sharing because as you guys know, on this channel we deal with everything cybersecurity related, as well as network and system engineering. Well, I just want to thank you once more for viewing this short video. I hope you found some sort of value in it. And yeah, just be vigilant out there, because cyber criminals, they are using all these different platforms at their disposal to scam you in some form or fashion. Anyways, that's all for me for now. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.